What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 716 of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast, Hot Tags of the Week. I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, joined as always by Robert E. Felice.
Yes, I'm sorry. If you want Callum Wiggins, you have to subscribe to our third service.
If you want an adult on this podcast, you have to subscribe to that.
You have to pay a little extra money.
That's going to be one of the major topics for us to talk about here. It's this whole ESPN deal and everything changing again from even what it just was the other day and the confusion behind it all. I don't know exactly what's happening. Rob doesn't know exactly what's happening, but we're going to fill you in as much as we can. We're also going to gripe about it. We're going to talk about some updates to the Forbidden Door card for this weekend, this Sunday night pay-per-view, or Sunday early afternoon pay-per-view. And, no, nothing new on Heat Wave for us to talk about, but hey, Heat Wave, that's the thing too. And we'll run down some of the other things that happen on the TV shows, and I don't know, we'll probably get sidetracked at some point. So as we go ahead and we talk about all these things, make sure that you hit up the Discord server that we have and chat it up there, or if you're on Facebook or Twitter or smarkmoment.com, or you are on Spotify or anything that you have out there that you can leave a comment on, go ahead and do so. If you are on YouTube, make sure that you leave a comment below and also hit the like button and subscribe while you're there. Ring that notification bell and get those email alerts set up for the post show, which is either going to be sandwiched in between the two pay-per-views and then following Heatwave, or just one of them as a combo edition following Heatwave. It literally all depends on when they end, and it's going to be impossible to know until they actually end, because AEW sometimes goes very, very long, and once in a while we have a little bit of a window. I don't know. We're going to see. So the only way that you would know for sure if I do go live is if you're paying attention or if you have those email alerts. Go ahead and do that. If you want to help us out,
Go ahead and drop in the comments what, if you would like it sandwiched in between the two shows, what kind of sandwich you think this would be.
What kind of a roll is it on? You know, are we on a roll?
What are the condiments? How different is my order from Tony's?
Oh man, I had two meals this week, that like two dinners, because I only eat one meal a day.
Same.
That were
not healthy, kids. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's working for me. I'm losing a little bit of weight, but the
okay. I don't need to. I just put it on.
Different story. You want to take mine? I put on 60 pounds over the past bunch of years. There you go.
Yes.
If we could just do that, that'd be great. I had two sandwich-based dinners this week, and they both were shit. So I'm not working too well. If I at any point during this podcast I have to jump out, it's going to be for that reason, because my stomach's been bothering me ever since I ate these burgers tonight. But yeah, if you want to help out on the monetary fund to fund me getting a better meal tomorrow, or just keep the lights on here in general, or whatever, and show your support.
Or just buy the extra toilet paper.
Either way, the thanks button on YouTube. There's patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. There is the YouTube channel membership, and there's also Redbubble and TeePublic for merchandise options too. So, I don't know what I'm going to use for the thumbnail for this episode. I haven't gotten that far yet, but
just use the Wrestlepalooza poster.
Or like probably ESPN something like that. I don't know. I mean, typically those things don't do super well. It's usually better if somebody's like face is on there. So maybe I'll throw something on there. I don't know. I probably won't care enough by the end of it to just be like, let's just throw the ESPN logo or something, because we got to talk about that. So this is actually the main topic here that we're going to bounce around a bunch of different things for. The previously announced switch over from WWE having the Peacock pay-per-views and everything like that, where like the premium live events in the United States are on Peacock, and then if you're outside of the United States, they're on Netflix. They had announced that was going to go until basically WrestleMania. Well, it's starting in September, and thank you to the ambulance that decided to just start off.
Hold on.
Great.
So everyone had seen the ESPN direct-to-consumer app will start in March when the Peacock thing ends, because that was around the time. It is now starting in September because AEW All Out Toronto will be counter-programmed by a main roster WWE show, the first ever WWE Wrestlepalooza, which, first of all, is an interesting name.
The setup for Wrestlepalooza, first off, I mean, the name itself. Let's get into the name, and we'll talk about the ESPN thing. We'll talk about, like I said, we're going to bounce around a lot on this because these topics are all sort of like, and then that brings up this discussion, and that brings up this discussion, and all that. So I wrote up a thing, EWN, my question of the day, whatever, of would you like to see any other ECW pay-per-view names be brought back? Because funny enough, out of all the things that are happening right now, Heatwave is happening this Sunday, and Heatwave was an ECW pay-per-view. When Worlds Collide was the name of an ECW pay-per-view, but hey, WWE, WCW, AAA, ECW, like it's apparently everybody can throw a Worlds Collide thing in there. But it's still, hey, Worlds Collide. And then now we're getting Wrestlepalooza. So Wrestlepalooza is not the name that I would go with for a typical pay-per-view. But when I was double checking again what the other super cards and pay-per-views and stuff were, I was like, oh shit, that's the only one that they have left that they could realistically use. Because these pay-per-view names really are just shit. Like Paul Heyman couldn't think of a good pay-per-view name. I mean, it's of its time.
They were fine.
Like this idea, like natural born killers.
Okay, so like let's talk about this. ECW. No, that's not where we're going. ECW special events, barely legal. When you're getting into things like it's double tables 95. It's natural born killers. It's Cyber Slam's actually pretty good. Probably keep that. It's big ass extreme bash. Like like these were just special events that would be later released on tape, similar to WWE having like WrestleFest. There was never actually a WrestleFest event, but it was the Coliseum home videotapes. Once you get into the pay-per-view names, Living Dangerously, I think, is a good one.
It's not bad. It's not great. It's like that's one of the ones that I would group into the. All right, if you had to I think
NXT November to Remember sounds pretty fucking sweet.
The November to Remember was used by AEW recently. Remember?
It's right. Yes, it was. Yes.
November.
It's not even the 5th.
But like Living Dangerously, Guilty as Charged, like they're not awful, but they're not great. And then there's the group.
Heaven would be cool if like WWE still did hardcore matches.
And it's like you already have Extreme Rules, so you don't need that. And then that it kind of gets rid of Extreme Warfare and it gets rid of Anarchy Rules, which shouldn't be RULZ, but that's 1999. So
yeah, get over that.
And like the things that they would have like legal trouble for, like they obviously we're not going to ever have WWE. It ain't Seinfeld because you can't do that, or Gangsta's Paradise. Like I don't know, Coolio's not around anymore, but his representatives might have an issue with that or something. And then there's generic ass names like Better Than Ever and Chapter 2, whatever. But then you also have things like, imagine Michael Cole being like, all right, everybody, welcome to the Super Summer Sizzler Spectacular. And then there's very specific things like Return of the Funker, which obviously like you can't do that because that's the whole point is Terry Funk.
Born to be Wired, which was literally like barbed wire match.
Enter the Sandman and then re-enter the Sandman. So I was like going through this list and I was like, man, the only thing that they really could do at this point would probably be Ultra Clash. And at that point, like, please just do Super Brawl instead, But Wrestlepalooza, I'll honestly admit, over the course of these past few days when it came out that was going to be, because the first report that came out was from WrestleVotes and it was saying that it was going to be something closer to like Fastlane or Over the Limit. I've never liked Fastlane as a name. I've always liked Over the Limit because to me that's like, okay, the pay-per-view is going to be over the limit. Like, oh, it's going to be chock full of like crazy action or whatever. But then I had seen, okay, Wrestlepaloozas in the mix, and I was like, well, come on. That's either completely not serious, or more realistically at this point, it's probably the name they're going for, because why would they pull Wrestlepalooza out of nowhere? So I started to get used to the idea. And to be perfectly honest, at this point, I'm like, I kind of like that they're calling it Wrestlepalooza. I hate the logo, though.
You know what's funny?
You like the logo, but you don't like the name?
No, I don't like the logo that much. This is the first time in what, 20 some odd years? I don't even know how long. That like we're slapping you over the face that this is a wrestling show for a show outside of Mania, of course. Where it's Wrestlepalooza. Like, what do you mean? It's like it's the biggest party of the summer, kind of.
Do you get a sense that they might end up actually like continuing that and having another one?
What, like another like
Wrestlepalooza 2026?
We're gonna call Slamboree.
Slamboree is the name that they could have used too.
I could see Wrestlepalooza continuing.
Because like I would love to. I am more interested in the idea. That's funny enough. This is, I don't know. Maybe it shows like the weird dorky side of me, but like I would be way more interested in watching a WWE Unreal episode of an unedited conversation of who brought up Wrestlepalooza and them debating about it and then deciding to go with it than I would any match that's actually going to happen on the show. I want to see the discussion where like Koski and Triple H and whatever are going, what do we have trademarked? Well, we got this, we got Payback, we got whatever, and somebody going, how about Wrestlepalooza? And then everybody going, I don't know, maybe. And then, you know.
Well, that strikes me as an ESPN thing. Being like, hey, can you slap people over the head with the fact that this is wrestling?
So you were telling me off air that you think the ESPN might be the ones behind Brock Lesnar coming back.
So, okay, I don't know if they're specifically like, hey, we'll fork over the cash. But now that we know where this was going, I look at it and go, okay, did they ask specifically for Lesnar? Because they think Brock Lesnar will get people to tune in because he's a sports guy.
And it's, it's ESPN, so it's the whole like, well, that it's the UFC crowd and like he's a familiar big name as opposed to, trying to sell the ESPN crowd on something like, say, I don't know, the return of Liv Morgan. Not that she's ready to return, but you know what I mean. Like, maybe, I mean, they're not doing it at Clash in Paris for a reason.
Yeah, and like I was saying to you I don't know if I said this on the air or not, but we went a whole month without anyone mentioning Lesnar. And even in the press release, they didn't mention Lesnar. They're like, John Cena is going to fight someone he hasn't fought in over 10 years. And like, that could be anybody. Realistically, like that could be a match with Carlito.
Literally, out of all the people I was going to say, I was going to go, yeah, I don't know, like fucking Carlito. That sounds funny.
Well, because it's like, okay, that could be Seth Rollins. Like that could be anybody. I wonder if they're leaving it open-ended in case Brock doesn't want to show.
If that's if they have a problem like that, then that's a big, big problem, and they really should figure that out.
Well, not like that, but like, hey, are we like the wording is so vague that legitimately John Cena could be like, he could fight The Rock. Like he could fight anyone because he's fought everybody, and you could just be like, well, he didn't fight him in the last 10 years, so now it's a thing.
But the Wrestlepalooza name is, it's an ECW name. They're pulling that out of nowhere. They're cramming this in at the last minute. They got a counter program, I guess, according to whatever the fuck. And they're also announcing NXT No Mercy is happening on the 27th of September. And then we've got the Saturday night's main event November 1st. And then we have the Saturday night's main event on December 13th. And it seems like that's going to be John Cena's last match, which is such like a... That's it.
That is such bullshit.
Whatever happened to that Ruthless Aggression pay-per-view that we were hearing about, you know?
It's WrestlePalooza now, baby.
Ugh.
It's WrestlePalooza.
And then...
Which I admit, I like the name of for a wrestling pay-per-view. But it's so silly.
And what's even more confusing to people is this, where are you going to watch it whole thing. So with the ESPN deal, they had a lot of confusion because for some reason these fucking places don't think or they don't care. And I can't imagine it's that they don't care because they care about money, and money is the whole reason why they're doing everything. So you would think that they would actually, maybe it's this. It's either we are too stupid to understand that people need to understand this information, or it's we're being advised by people that are so stupid that they don't care to actually explain a lot of this stuff. And I still don't know exactly how this is going to work. And I've been trying to do a bunch of research for this. But from what I gather, I was able to log in to ESPN through my Spectrum. So that's Charter, because for some reason you have to label it as Charter instead of Spectrum. I don't fucking know. That was confusing enough to me too. I was like, I don't have Charter. And I'm like, apparently I do, because Charter is Spectrum. It's that Comcast Xfinity type crap. So I was able to log in, but even when I logged in, it was like, all right, well then log in through your TV provider, and then you have to have your Disney account. And I was like, oh wait, so I'm logging into my Disney account because I do have a Disney account. And then it's like, well, now that we confirmed all that, now you can have access to that, but you don't have access to ESPN Plus. By the way, you have to download the app, and the app is just called ESPN. I'm like, all right, so.
Yeah, so that part confused me tonight. Because I guess the app is live, but it's just called ESPN. And I'm like, wait, what is this? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know if it's going to switch or if that's what it is. And it's just, it's the ESPN app. So I never had ESPN Plus before. I never had any reason for it. I don't watch any other sports. So it's like, well, was that a matter of, is this ESPN Plus or, whatever? I don't know. But apparently this is just Raw and SmackDown. And then the NXT pay-per-views are going to stay on Peacock, which means that they expect people to...
Hold on. Only through March 2026 for the NXT pay-per-views.
I thought it was after that as well.
Nope.
Because there was something about doing some other kind of content and that they're going to add more to Peacock.
Yeah, the more is the Saturday Night's main events. They agreed to more Saturday Night's main events.
But that's after March?
Yeah. It's a new multi-year deal.
This is even more confusing than I thought that it is. So then...
Yeah, that's why I haven't literally chimed in, because I don't understand a lot of this or how it works.
So then if you're in the United States, you need Netflix for Raw, and you have nothing else on Raw or on Netflix. It's just Monday Night Raw. And then you can't see everything that's on Monday Night Raw unless you have the ad-free whatever tier, because they just put some stuff behind that. And I guess it's I don't know if it's international only or whatever it is, but you have to have Netflix for that. Then on Tuesday, you need a cable subscription for CW, which, by the way, Pix 11, you fucking blow. There's not been a single episode of the NXT on Pix 11 that has not had so much pixelization. And it's like, well, you're calling yourself Pix. Are you really do you understand how bad this is? So you need a cable subscription for that. And then, of course, if you have AEW, then you need the, TBS and TNT. And then the AEW pay-per-views are pay-per-views you have to buy specifically on their own, which are absurdly priced. And then you're supposed to watch, technically, Main Event, wherever the fuck Main Event is on. I don't even know at this point. It's either YouTube or it's Hulu, whatever it is. And then Tubi, which is free, for Evolve. And then you've got TNA, which they're partnered with. And they are on the
Thursdays.
Was it Access?
Oh, Access TV.
So that's Access for that. But if you want to watch the pay-per-views, then it's TNA Plus, or it's, whatever alternative you want to buy that for. AAA, by the way, those pay-per-views are on YouTube. YouTube has the tape library, but not everything, because the tape library is on Peacock, which also has the pay-per-views, but not anymore. But they do for NXT, but they will for Saturday night's Main Event, which was supposed to be Peacock and NBC, but it won't be NBC anymore. And by the way, NBC and Peacock and all are owned by the people that run the USA Network, which if you already had your cable subscription, that's what you need for SmackDown. And then now you need ESPN. Okay. For the other favorite. They expect people to fucking keep track of this stuff. I can't keep track of this stuff, and I'm anal retentive enough and have a website and a job dedicated to it. So I'm perpetually one of these people that's like, I have to put on all my shit, hey, this is going to air at 3 p.m. today because it's a different time and whatever. This is the most whack-ass, haphazard, crazy schedule nightmare that they could possibly be asking for. And at the bottom, at the end of the day, bottom line, they're getting paid for it, so they literally do not care. Because if they got not a single person to tune in to Clash in Paris, for instance, they already made their fucking money.
Right, but then they would have to worry about the actual... I would say, well, they wouldn't have to worry about the actual show, I guess, because they just continue to feed you haphazard booking.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just annoying. Greed kills.
It really is the worst thing that has ever existed in the entirety of mankind is greed. And, I'm not saying that these ESPN deal is the worst thing that ever happened, but it's like one of those things where it's just like, man, can't we just have the network? Can't we just do that again?
Amen to that.
Because it's insane. And I'm like, I don't know the process of like VPNs with like Netflix and all. I don't know if there's a way for you to be able to do that where you can watch it on your TV or if you can only do it on the internet. And that's something I guess I got to look into. But like, that seems like the most viable option to me at this point, is telling people pay however much you want of money, for whatever the, Nord or Proton, I think was the name of one of them, or like, whatever.
Proton, so Proton is the one I currently use. It's
good?
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
How much is that?
Definitely cheaper than most. I don't know the exact price off the top of my head. I have tried Nord, and it's probably my preferred because it's the ease of access to it. But Proton is actually really good too.
I only used a VPN once, and that was last October when I was in Brazil. Because of course, when you're in Brazil, you can't log into the Peacock app. Which is like, okay, then fuck me, right? So I was like, well, how do I watch whatever it was I was trying to cover at that point? But like, that was a pain in the ass. So I had signed up for, I think it was Nord or whatever, but I didn't try to use that for like, watching on like an app on the TV or something. But it just seems like that's, I would advise most people, if you are watching stuff just on your computer, or if you can get that to work on your TV, if however that works, to just be like, just get Netflix and just get your VPN and then save yourself some money, because $30 a month for just the Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views, and you don't even get the NXT ones, you don't even get the tape library, like none of that kind of shit. That is ridiculous. And I really hope it
Absolutely.
blows up in their face. Like across the board. Like I want Peacock to be like suffering because nobody's buying the NXT pay-per-views. I want the ESPN deal to like that they expect a whole bunch of people to do that and it ends up being that it's not the case. Like we need reality checks for so many things. I currently seemingly get the ESPN thing for free, but that's only because I'm paying fucking way too much money when it comes to cable anyway. So
You and me both, brother.
You know, I'm always looking for ways to cut that price down. And another thing that I was thinking was I saw a thing that said that the ESPN app doesn't even have an option for you to not have ads. It's just the app.
Right.
Which means
Because
pay-per-views now are going to also have commercials in them?
Yep. Because guess what? Money rules the world. We're going to get mid-match ads. I'm not kidding. They were like talking about this being a thing.
Pay-per-views,
I hate.
they're dead.
No, they get really salty when you say that, even though they said that.
Yeah, it's going to kill it though, because it's going to be there's going to be no difference between watching SummerSlam and watching Raw. They're going to cut the commercial breaks midway match. You know, you're paying $30 so that they can give you commercials. And then you're paying the internet bill and you're paying the cable bill and you're paying, you know, like all the other things that go along with that.
And then suddenly you're like, oh my God, I thought this was supposed to be less expensive than cable, but I'm paying
three times the
as
amount.
much.
And getting quality stuff that is worse quality because they're going, well, we already got the money. We don't have to put any effort into it. Hey, if anybody wants a pirate hat, let me know. I've got some ways. Like, you know what I mean? If I wasn't afraid of like, you know, the legal ramifications, man, I'd be like, give me $2 a month and I'll stream this on Discord. You know what I mean? And to rack up a bunch of things like that. But no, if anybody's curious, I've never done that. I don't plan on doing that, wink. And
you know, the I guess the TLDR is they just made what was a simple exercise 10 years ago the most complicated dance ever.
I miss the network.
I miss the network so much.
You got your NXT there. You got the pay-per-views. You just log into the app. It took a little bit for it to work right, but once it started to work right, it was fucking great. You could search matches in the middle of a pay-per-view. Nothing was labeled as a season. It had everything. If I went to WWE.com and I searched for Big Show, I could find his profile page, which actually worked because the WWE.com actually worked instead of being whatever the situation is now where you can't click on things. And it would be like, well, how about this Big Show collection? Or like, how about this pay-per-view match with Big Show?
I love the collections. I get it. The network was an abject failure. If Callum was here, he would say that. But I don't get hyped about this ESPN thing. Oh, we're gonna do Lesnar versus Cena on ESPN. Okay, and like, what's so special about that? You're not telling any good stories. You're not doing anything. Why? Like, why is this the moment? Besides pissing off, Fight Forever, not for the AEW
All
show.
Out.
All Out. Yeah, thank you.
The video game.
It's just ridiculous. Like, for what reason are you counter programming that?
And
Edge is on the poster. For God's sake, you let the man go. Like,
yeah. You considered him not worth spending the money for. If it really mattered, then you wouldn't need to. But like, you know, sooner rather than later, they're going to reach that point where they're going to realize that they're spending too much money and they're spending too much effort in counter programming, and they'll realize that it's a waste, and then they'll stop doing it. This isn't going to go on for 2 years, I don't think.
I'm not so sure that it won't. out of spite. Spite is a hell of a motivator.
I think we're done with the let's rush to counter program by probably this point next year. Maybe even by a little bit earlier than that. Because it's not working. It can't possibly be working. Yes, we don't know the numbers, whatever. But I can't imagine that they're spending this money and that's somehow translating to some kind of positives. Like, if the company wants to go bankrupt in trying to put the number 2 out of business, that's insane.
And like, look, this isn't me knocking AEW. I love them. I'm excited. I'm going to my first show in October. But it's a distant number 2. What are you doing? Like, why are you racking your brain to make sure that you go out of your way to make them feel like a distant number 2?
I mean, it's the contract stuff like we talked about before. Like, they don't want another alternative out there to make it so that they can't sign people for a cheaper price. But like, how much are you willing to spend for the hopes that happens? To like, are you willing to lose $250 million so that you could save $100 million? It's dumb, but
it is dumb. All of this is dumb. Ridiculous. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Why don't
it's frustrating and
why isn't AEW on HBO Max yet?
Yeah.
And hold on, sorry. Why aren't the live pay-per-views on HBO Max yet?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. It's frustrating, and people are gonna buy in hook, line, and sinker. So more power to them.
If the past year has taught us anything, it's never underestimate the stupidity of the average person.
That's a great quote.
Quote Tony Mango. I'll add that to my list of great quotes that I've said over the years.
Never underestimate the stupidity of the average person.
What's the most recent one that I added? Because I do keep track of things I think are either very witty or very funny every once in a while. Let's see. So this is an inside joke for me and Tony, but you do not make plays about your life. Stick to the music of Billy Joel. So I guess the most recent one I had written down was hobbies are work for your soul.
That's so you. That's a very you. It's cool. What one I heard today, I can't take credit, but it was a quote directly from the mind of like your average person, is inconvenience is the cost of love. Like doing random inconvenient things is the cost of
you do that because you love somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Hell yes.
So the other more recent ones that I had, because I barely ever write these things down because I'm not, I got a fucking ego, but it's not that big that it's like, not like every day I'm like, that's a fucking, whatever. I wrote down,
you heard him. It's not that big, folks.
Right.
10 flowers to his wife.
Apparently on 2021, I wrote down, nostalgia is medicine for a broken timeline.
I like that.
I have down, teapots let out steam while brewing, not while boiling away into vapor. I've got...
Who you were brewing at the time, clearly.
Yeah, it's in reference to somebody complaining to Caroline about not willing to do anything but vent instead of trying to fix their own problems. That's how I wrote the context down for that one. I also wrote down sometime in 2016, I had said, where do you go if you want to take a vacation from yourself?
I think that's what we do in Scroll.
I remember this one. I'd be more fun if I had more fun. Yeah, I remember saying that.
True.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words, so if your actions are shitty, you better be a goddamn good speaker. I forget who I said that to, but I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. And I guess I'll leave it off on this one. This isn't the most, all of them, but this one's funny. I've made jokes about dicks that are bigger than yours.
That's a hell of a burn. Like,
Yeah.
it's
That's from about 10 years ago.
You might need to dust that one off.
Yeah, I should. I should read this list every once in a while and just be like, fuck yeah, Tony. Good job, past Tony. That's a hell of a burn. I don't know what movie it's from because I haven't seen the movie, I don't think, but there's a quote from a movie that says that I always thought was really good. It's I wouldn't piss on your gums if your mouth was on fire.
God, that's so great.
That's so visceral. And whatever it is, it's one of those like blonde asshole 1980s villains of a movie or something. And it's like, fuck yeah, man. That's great. So quoth, Tony Mango, whatever the fuck I said earlier. I don't know. I didn't write it down. What do I have a list?
You gotta keep writing them down.
I really should. But anyway, that's your random aside. Tony breaks out the Evernote list of this episode, I guess. So Wrestlepalooza down, NXT No Mercy down, this ESPN thing. It's going to develop over time. We're going to find out more information. Most of it's going to be frustrating. Some of it's going to be like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting, whatever. But the point being, Clash in Paris is going to be the last main roster pay-per-view that's going to be on Peacock. So if you are getting ready to re-up your Peacock subscription and you don't really have all that much interest in NXT, then consider canceling and then just kind of waiting the rest of it until we figure out what happens going forward. To be perfectly honest, unless it's a matter of it being like the convenience is so worth it for you, you really legitimately can very, very easily find streams of these things. And yes, it is illegal. So, you know, advocating for that is not necessarily the best thing, but hey, look at our fucking government does illegal shit. So, you know, never let somebody who's rich and doesn't pay taxes by quote unquote legal loopholes tell you that as a poorer person that you are causing all the fucking world's problems for stealing a loaf of bread. Quoth Tony Mango. There you go.
Unfortunately, speaking of bread, our next topic is not about Satoshi Kojima, but he does like bread.
So I thought that you just had Brett instead of bread, and I was like, bread. And I was like, wait, are we talking about Bret Hart? Now, Bret Hart. That's real.
I think I could get down with Bret Hart. I can't get down with bread hard.
Yeah, bread hard. No, too crusty.
Put it back in the oven. Soften it up.
Is that like instead of the sharpshooter, it's like some kind of pretzel thing?
Okay, oh, you know, you're onto something. The sharpshooter is kind of like a pretzel. So, like, you know, maybe Bret Hart does the pretzel instead of the sharpshooter.
He's got him up in a knot, you know.
I cannot believe this is happening.
And who's he feuding with? Ludwig Kaiser Roll.
God, we're stupid.
Well, now I got to think of what's the version of the Hitman.
Would it just be the baker? Would it just be?
What, he shoots you 13 times? It's Baker's done.
Yeah, you know, you're onto something.
Just for the sake of it, I'm going to throw Bret Hart into the tags of this.
We love ourselves some Bret Hart.
Yeah. Let us know what your favorite type of bread is. You know, are you a ciabatta person or do you not like katsuyori?
No, my phone regularly wants to turn ciabatta into Shabbat or ciabatta, and it's like neither is. We're not doing Shabbat. We're not doing ciabatta. Like, so
every so often, there's certain people that Caroline will overhear the name of and be like, "Did they just say such and such instead?" Like, you know, obviously she knows most of the people, so it'll be like, you know, if like Finn Balor comes out, she's not going to be like, "Did they just call him such and such or whatever?" But one of them that always happens is when Katsuyori Shibata is out. She's like, did you just say Shibata? Like Shibata bread? I'm like, no, it's Katsuyori Shibata. It should be like, oh, wait, like the bread? No, like, no. So we're building a stable here. Ludwig Kaiser roll, Katsuyori Shibata, Bret Hart. Maybe we could throw something out there about like some hoagie rolls or something. I don't know. Hulk hoagies. There you go. I'll bring back something from 6th grade.
We should probably do the next hot tag.
Hopefully she's doing well out there, Hulk hoagies.
Hey, you know what? Actually, Brooke Hogan. Do you want to talk about Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, let's. Hulk Hogan was murdered. I don't know.
Hulk Hogan was potentially murdered by way of medical malpractice. And that's a developing story. Brooke Hogan's been talking to TMZ about it. I don't know how to feel about that.
Is it like a Scientology thing? Is it not even real? Is it, you know, I sent this stuff out to a couple different people, and the line that I've been saying in more than one conversation this week is, you really mean to believe that, like, I'm supposed to believe 2025 is fucking real? Like, come on. Come on. Aliens that are controlling this.
That's the way I found out, was you going, 2025 is not real. They're saying Hulk Hogan was murdered.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
For his family's sake, I hope not. I hope they can find some closure. But
obviously, if anybody was, like, I don't like Hulk Hogan. I am never going to be, you know, a supporter of the people that have the things that he supports. But at the same time, I don't think that medical malpractice is something that could be like, well, you know, who fucking cares? Because, like, that person can harm good people as well. And if somebody did something wrong, I hope that they get found out. I hope that they lose their license. I hope they go to jail. Like, all those other kind of things. Like, you know, a common, decent human fucking being would think. But the insanity of the whole situation just makes me just go like, sure, that's a fucking headline. Why not? You know, like, yeah, we're doing that. And that'll be the story of the day, is Bubba the Love Sponge thinking that Eric Bischoff is somehow involved in covering up Hulk Hogan being murdered or something. Like,
that's crazy. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. Meanwhile, it's like another news story of like Matt Riddle telling Shane McMahon to fuck off at Hogan's funeral or something. And then.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to believe that Matt Riddle made it to Hogan's funeral?
Apparently he did, based off of his, I think his porn star girlfriend or something. Like knew somebody, or like somehow they got invited and he was like a +1 or something. That's according to the one story or whatever. I barely read it because it was like, ultimately, I don't really care. But like, seems like that's the case. And that he bumped into Shane and Shane said nice hair and then he told him to fuck off.
That's crazy.
Matt Riddle, who
I don't
has
know if I believe any
red
of that.
hair right now, like, you know, Squid Games for some reason.
I don't know if I believe that part.
About the hair?
No, I've seen Matt Riddle. I mean about the Hogan funeral.
I don't know. Maybe Matt Riddle did it. It's not even allegedly. Of course he didn't fucking do it. No, put that out there for some kind of legal crap. I don't know. He dyed his hair. That's what I'm saying. I'm more it's so stupid. I'm more curious and trying to figure out if I could think of any more bread puns that I am trying to figure out if like there's more backstory to this Matt Riddle thing. But yeah, the Hogan thing, you know, if there's more about that, we'll talk about that in the future. If it ends up turning out that that was actually the case and he didn't just happen to pass away from some kind of heart complications or some kind of like steroid abuse use leads to this kind of, you know, kidney failure that leads to this, that leads to that, or, you know, whatever it might be. I don't know. Old age is what they used to call it when they didn't have medical terms for this. That's what RFK likes. He likes when you don't have the medical terms for things like riboflavin. And, you know, Sometimes you get what you rode for. But we got Forbidden Door updates. But let's wait and talk about that with the Dynamite stuff. Let's go back a little bit and talk about some stuff from Monday Night Raw. Vision kicked off. ECW is a thing. You're in Philly.
Hold on. We got to talk about this. Paul Heyman cut introductory promos for 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then was that interrupted by Jey Uso, who did his whole yeet routine.
For like 3 minutes.
It's crazy to me that people get away with this.
Every week, without fail, I'll be like in the middle of something or whatever, and like Caroline will be like, like, oh, by this way, it's 8 o'clock, and I'm like, yeah, the show's on, but I won't have to do anything for 20 minutes. And somebody will come out, it'll start off with like, it's Division, and they'll be like, all right, well, they're not going to get into the ring for at least another 3, and then they're going to yap, and then Jey Uso will come out, yeet, do it all over again. Let's fight. Tag team match scheduled for later. Okay, the show will start at 8:22, or like, and without fail, it's the same thing. And it's like, man, I hate that they do that. Like, I would love to see an episode of Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or whatever just have a completely different format where nothing followed. Like, statistically, just figure out all of the mapped rules that they follow and say we aren't allowed to do a single one of them for tonight. Start off and it's immediately like a match is about to begin. No entrances. And you just have a match and nobody comes out and interferes. Nobody wins by disqualification with this person, LA Knight, was going to be winning this match against Braun Breaker, but then Bronson Reed came and he started to attack him, and then Roman Reigns came out and helped LA Knight out or whatever. Like that. No, none of that. No disqualifications, no interferences, no set up a thing and come back to it 3 more times during the broadcast. No backstage interviews that lead to somebody just staring off into the distance. I don't want Kathy Kelly to walk away the moment that somebody interrupts the interview, because nobody should interrupt the interview. Like, I just want to see an episode that's completely different. And man, that would be so refreshing.
I completely agree.
And they'll never ever do it.
Never. Because why would you?
Right. If you've got a stock template that you use every single week, you've been doing it for 30 years. At the very least, you've been doing it for 15 plus. This exact formula. It's just going to continue. Book me that Bret Hart match instead.
I would much rather watch that.
But Io beats Raquel. Rhea Ripley comes out. Early contender, or not early because it's already August. Contender for Outfit of the Year, Rhea Ripley. And no Kabuki Warriors involved in that match. A little bit later on, there's a backstage thing where they get into more of an argument. Kairi Sane again is like, well, I don't know. Asuka's pissed, but I guess I'm going to go walk off with her. I did like the Punk and LA Knight interview where they were kind of being a little bit more like, it makes sense for them to have this sort of discussion. Like CM Punk being like, you do realize that if we all don't just get together and fight Division together, it's a numbers game and we're going to lose. And then LA Knight being like, yeah, but don't fucking hit me. You hit me, asshole. It's like, that makes sense. Okay. Good for them. I liked Jackie Redmond interviewing Sheamus in this episode where she said a variation of the banger after banger, and Sheamus is like, hey, that's my gimmick. And she's like, oh, it's a good gimmick. And then laughed. I was like, okay, they're human beings. Look at that. But they're going to be in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, by the way.
I love that because we're going to France. We got an Irishman.
Got a Bulgarian.
And they're going to have an old-fashioned Donnybrook.
Typical French Donnybrook.
No, it's just an old-timey Donnybrook. And it's Sheamus' specialty because once upon a time, he did that match once, and they were just like, every time you do it, we're going to call it the good old-fashioned Donnybrook.
Yeah, that was during the era when they were really kind of just tossing out names.
Because I was thinking Last Man Standing, something like that, and
Falls Count Anywhere.
He gets his signature match.
I'll probably lose. I think Rusev will win, but we'll come back around to that.
Sure.
Penta beat Xavier Woods. I liked the whole argument about the hat and everything. Xavier Woods was like, Zero, dinero, you owe me $12,000 or whatever. I love Woods. Woods is great.
They have fully embraced it. They're making a mountain out of a molehill. They're making chicken salad. I like it because it's not good, but they're trying their best.
Dragon Lee and Mr. Iguana lost to the Judgment Day. Vikingo came out, ended up not actually winning this fight against Dominic Mysterio. Dom is going to have another chance to beat Vikingo for that mega championship. And I think that they'll finally give it to him at that point.
Yeah, I'm guessing no matter what, he's the new mega champion. I think AJ will be the next IC champion no matter what. It's just a matter of when for both.
They're still arguing, not arguing, but they're still teasing the argument between Dom and Finn.
Well, what do you think of Demonito?
Demonito?
The little Finn Balor demon. Did you not watch Triple Mania? The little Finn Balor.
That was the name of the. I didn't catch that they had said that name.
Yeah, he's got the little Demonito. He's I think that's the most over thing Finn Balor's done in almost 10 years. Since like the NXT run.
This is the third hand puppet thing that has happened this year. So that's just a thing. Hey. You got Mercedes and you got Mr. Iguana and you got Demonito.
Puppets are amazing. That's why you have to like fund public broadcasting.
Yes, you do, everybody.
Puppets are amazing.
I don't have a graphic to put up on the screen, everybody, but like I tweeted out about it. Like my wife just literally came across the whole thing with McFoley talking about kayfabe. So it's like you can find pro wrestling stuff on this stuff too. Like,
But more importantly, to that and to McFoley, puppets. And they're amazing. And I think Demonito is the best thing Finn Balor's done since at least when he won the Universal title. I'm serious. I think it's going to be the most over thing he's done since he won the Universal title.
Well, to quote Vince McMahon's theme song, puppets.
That's right.
Becky Lynch beat Natalya. Nikki Bella comes out, makes a save. Rock Attack 2.0, whatever.
Are we getting... Okay, do you think we're doing that in France, or do you think we're waiting until Wrestlepalooza?
I don't know. I think that they could do it on Raw. But they could drag that out, potentially. Not that I would want them to, but I think that they could drag that out to probably Wrestlepalooza. The card for Clash seems like it's already filled to me. But one of the things that they didn't announce is what are they going to do when it comes to Naomi? Because Naomi confirmed that she is pregnant. So the
#content, #content, because we drew this out all night long and then revealed that we filmed an extra podcast on top of the podcast that they were doing just so she could announce she was pregnant.
And I liked in some ways how they did that. In some other ways I didn't. Obviously, I kind of wanted them to just confirm that earlier in the night. And like, I think it is a little bit like you said, it's like we're harvesting this for content kind of. But I did like at least one part of it, that Adam Pearce is out there and she's like, we're all so like elated for you. And then she's like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not giving you my belt. I already gave you a belt before. And, some of her lines were pretty good. Like, we got a Baby Uso chant broken out from the crowd. And, she said that like 9 months and at some change from now, she's going to come back. She's going to win the title back, et cetera, et cetera. And then Cole's just like, I don't know, we'll figure out everything afterward. So they didn't announce anything for next week yet. We don't know what's happening with Stephanie McCurr and the Clash in Paris match. Realistically, it's probably just going to be the most standard deviation that we've ever seen, where it'll just be Stephanie McCurr already has her title match. Who does she go up against? Well, it'll be the winner/winners of these matches that are happening on Monday Night Raw, and they'll get an announcement, and it'll be like the Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez match is a qualifier, and then Io Sky is in a qualifier against Raquel or whatever it might be. I don't know. And then, like, you know, they'll do something like that. But here's the funny discussion that I've been seeing a lot. I think you actually might have been one of the people that brought this up to me. But this perpetual thing where when somebody is about to go away because they are pregnant, that they work with Asuka right beforehand. And that Asuka's like always revolving around these pregnant people.
It's not that they work with Asuka. It's that they look at this and they go, make her the champion. Because she's not the top face. Like, she's not Rhea now or Charlotte back when Becky went away. It's Asuka can do it. Give it to Asuka.
Like, they've got options. They could give it back to Io. They could give it back to Rhea. They could go with Stephanie McCurr. But there is a good chance that it just comes back around to Asuka. And that'll be a weird statistic if it ends up being like Asuka perpetually hovers around these pregnancies with like Bliss and Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch and, you know.
Right.
Then Jey Uso beats Braun Breaker in Extreme Rules match. Bunch of people get involved. Tribal Chief is out there. Shula Fala, et cetera, et cetera. That eventually did get confirmed. Bronson Reed, Roman Reigns at Clash of Paris. So, yeah, whatever. It's a match. They fight, blah, blah. Roman wins.
I'm happy for my guy, my Bronson Reed, with an eye on the future. But, yeah, Roman wins. Roman hasn't won something big, especially in a singles capacity, in a while. So Roman wins.
So we talked everything about NXT. And if everybody is not, you know, familiar with our thoughts on this week's episode of NXT, you didn't go and you didn't check out the Heat Wave.
The TLDR is it was bad.
It's a fucking terrible episode. And we really ran through that on there. So check out the Heat Wave pay-per-view point. And then before we get into the AEW side of things, the matches that are going to be happening on SmackDown, which, by the way, for everybody, SmackDown is happening earlier today. If you are outside of the United States, of course, if you are in the United States, you're going to find out the information anyway. You should find out the information by going to smarkmoment.com, because I will find out the information, put it there. Then you don't have to watch the show. You can just literally spend a minute and a half reading my report, and then you're good. But it is going to be, 3 p.m. Eastern, I think, when it's going to start. I think it's something like that.
They believe it's 3. The Raw is definitely 3, so I think this is as well.
Pretty sure. So I'll figure that out tomorrow. We'll have that all up and, you know, sorted out and whatever. Seems like it's Street Profits against 2 of the MFTs, but they haven't quite decided on who yet. Seems like Charlotte Flair against Piper Niven. John Cena's going to be there. Aleister Black's going to go up against Mr. Killings, as he called him, Robert Truth. And Aleister Black. Did I ever send you the remix?
No.
I didn't.
No.
Let me find out the name of this one real quick, and I'll do it on the air, because that way I'll be able to tell everybody else. So it's Dankmas.
Well, I think I should you Dankmas.
Did the Mr. Black one? Did you ever see that one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. I have that and the Dr. Zayas one downloaded.
Yeah. My favorite from Dankmas, shout out Dankmas, is Blurs of Times.
I don't think I have to check that one out. I'm going to have to check that, and apparently Lemonade. I'm going to have to check that one out too. But man, can we call you Uncle Blackie? No. Mr. Black. So good. And Aleister Black is going to have that match, and then Motor City Machine Guns are up against Mellow Adult Miz. And, yeah, they're going to probably tell that story continuing about the Miz stealing some attention away from Carmelo Hayes. a little miss, but he does get overshadowed.
Stupid.
And then we got the AEW stuff. Now, this was a mad, crazy day on Wednesday. I didn't realize that they were going to be recording AEW ahead of time. So by the time I found out that information, AEW was already about halfway done recording or so. And I was trying to play catch up. And at the same time, I was like, okay, well, that means that they're also going to record some ROH stuff and they're also going to record some Collision stuff. So let me try to pay attention to that. And at the same time, they broke the ESPN thing and the Wrestlepalooza and the No Mercy and the Saturday Night's Main Event. And then the, whatever, and then this and then that. And at this point, like, there's spoilers when it comes to Collision because that hasn't aired yet, but I don't think that anybody really cares necessarily. So I'm like, okay, I have to start writing up news. Oh, they're changing a whole bunch of things for Forbidden Door, and Luchasaurus is back. Oh, and Isla Dawn pops up on Collision. Like, man, there's a lot going on right now. What do you mean now we're talking about Wrestlepalooza? Like, it was just, for some reason, the world decided to like wake up at like 4:45, and then it just became like, here's a week's worth of shit in a half hour. So that was maddening, but it ended up being good in some ways because by the time we got around to Dynamite, I was able to do one of my more favorite things, which is I already knew what happened. So any segment I didn't really care to see, I was able to skip. So I skipped 85% of Dynamite, and I can't really comment on like, man, FTR and Burdito were having a hell of a match because I didn't bother to watch it because I already knew the outcome. But hopefully everybody else enjoyed it. I don't know. Here's what went down.
They had a hell of a match.
I heard it was good. But again, I'm not going to go back and watch it. So, Will Ospreay, supposedly not medically cleared to compete, but hey, it's an unsanctioned match. It's lights out, so it doesn't really matter. Of course, he would actually need to be medically cleared to compete, but it's pro wrestling. We'll talk about how pro wrestling doesn't make any sense when we talk about it a little bit later on. But that led into a whole trios match, bunch of people brawling. Nothing really to talk about there. It's just the standard stuff. It's just, lots of people brawling that are all fighting with each other. Okay, cool. Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Perpetually just going to be Edge and Christian. Screw it. I'm going to say it. They're just Edge and Christian. So they're in the ring. He's my asshole. We already talked about all the plugging up and stuff on the NXT podcast, but okay. Nick Wayne says that his foot's broken, and Luchasaurus / Kill Switch, he's being labeled still as Kill Switch. I still don't know why they don't just go back to Luchasaurus. I guess because it's too babyface. But, it shouldn't be like Christian hits the Kill Switch on Kill Switch. It's a little bit weird. Luchasaurus has taken Nick Wayne's place. He's going to be wrestling with Kip Sabian against Edge and Christian at Forbidden Door. That completely changed my prediction.
The story here is the vignette of Luchasaurus getting jabbed with the medicine to revive him. Because everybody's pretty, on the same page. It looked like Jack Perry was the one with the needle. It looks like they were uniting Jurassic Express. I think that would be sick. No, he's still a heel. He won't be but he will.
I'm so used to hearing that in Taz's voice now.
And Taz,
and then hearing Nyla beast a rose.
Nyla bros, she's a beast. Nyla.
Watch the match. You watch the match. Telling me to watch the match. Botchamania is so fucking good.
I love that. And Taz is great.
Yeah.
No, but I do think it's Jack Perry. I do think Kip will get his moment in the sun, and then we'll get a Jurassic Express reunion.
See, I'm now going into this match thinking Luchasaurus is looking strong. Kip Sabian could take the pin, by any means. But Cope and Christian are not necessarily on the same page yet. And I think we're going to end up getting one of those two is going to get pinned by Luchasaurus. And then we're going to continue this feud a little bit more. Then eventually Edge and Christian are going to like fully get on board with each other. And then they'll beat Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus instead.
No. They laid it out for you. He said, look, you'll help me with my patriarchy problem. I'm going to help you with your FTR problem. Did you wait?
Yeah.
Did you skip? Yeah.
But see, I think that indicates that they're going to put a delay a little bit. Because the tag title match is now FTR and Brodito against the Hurt Syndicate.
I swear to fucking Christ. If we don't get Edge and Christian win the titles in Toronto from FTR because you want to stall,
I think that they will.
I see. In that sense, I can never be as pessimistic as you. I can't imagine why that would be the move.
Hey, I'm not endorsing it.
I know you're not endorsing it, but the idea that you can see it happening is crazy.
Yeah, I could see this being a case where it's FTR and Brodito and the Hurt Syndicate. Hurt Syndicate loses the titles because Brody King or Bandito takes the pin. And then we've got another month of FTR fighting with the Hurt Syndicate because Hurt Syndicate's like pissed that they didn't lose the titles, but they lost the titles. During that time frame, Cope and Christian continue to try to figure out how to get on the same page. They fight Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. They beat those two. They're fully like, yeah, we're bros now. And now we can go after FTR. And then they beat FTR after that. I hope I'm wrong, because it makes more sense for them to just win the titles and just move right on.
I think that's the moment that they become close. They become close by winning the titles in Toronto. I liked the idea. I wish we would have seen it. But I liked the idea that Christian came out was like, we're not friends, but I've agreed to help you with your problem, and you're going to help me with mine. So that leaves like leeway for them to still do these matches and build to the big hug in Toronto, and then you go on a like little nostalgia tear until maybe Full Gear or World's End with these two as tag team champions.
Maybe even longer. I could see that going a little bit longer, Revolution or something.
Well, what did Callum say to me for just potentially suggesting that they could have a fun run?
Nostalgia goggles or something.
Yeah, fuck you and your nostalgia goggles. No, I have one goal, guys. I'm gonna be selfish here. I want to see Edge and Christian defend the titles against the Young Bucks in Jacksonville. And if I don't get that match and I get Edge and Christian, that's fine. If I somehow don't get Edge and Christian across two shows in Jacksonville, like if Adam Copeland gets hurt between now and October 8th, I might crash out. You might see me like lose my just control of all my function. Like I just want to see these. I just want to see them. I've never seen Christian wrestle live.
That'll happen, and then Paragon won't be booked on the card.
No, they won't. Or like they'll be booked to get squashed in 2 minutes by the Outrunners or some shit.
Yeah, Gates Agony just pick them up and
Sasha won't be there. Like the whole fucking like the whole thing. It just no Sasha, no Edge and Christian.
Hey, you'll get Blake Christian and you'll like it. You know.
Yeah, I sure will. I'll get a Ring of Honor card complete with like all of the frat party is in singles action, and I'll just you'll see me in the crowd slowly tying something. I won't say what. Just like
a Bret Hart knot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Bret Hart
knot. Out of the gutter, everybody. But here's how stupid / silly / amazing pro wrestling is. Hangman Adam Page gets to the ring to cut a promo. And then MJF is in the back. He and Ricochet, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan have assaulted a coworker, have him tied up and threatened to burn him alive if Hangman Page does not agree verbally to MJF being able to not use his Casino Gauntlet contract to have his match at Forbidden Door, and that the title can change hands on a count out or disqualification. And it's like, you've got the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, whatever. I'm going to light this man on fire. And it's like, only in professional wrestling are we supposed to believe that Tony Khan is sitting there on the monitor watching this going, wonder if Hangman's going to agree. I'm going to have to change that contract. It's perfectly fine for these people to abduct and assault and threaten to burn alive this person. Yeah, pyromania is perfectly fine. And not be like, okay, well, you're fired. All of you are fired for this heinous action. And at the very least, to not be like, yeah, you don't get to do that. The contract is void and fuck you, Max. But it's pro wrestling. So instead it's like, I'm like, my wife's in the other room and I'm like, hey, like I'm going to go back to the other room and finish watching this. And it's like, oh yeah, like what are they doing? MJF's just going to start to try to threaten to burn somebody alive, and it's going to change the title match. And her eyes just light up, and she's just like, "Okay, just gonna that's your job." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." We could ready to type that crap out.
I had said that I thought Max accepting the offer to put the contract on the line was weak, but like, this is silly. You could have done this last week. He's gonna burn him alive. Really?
I like that. No, I thought it was funny.
I mean, I'm sure you did. You root for the assholes in every movie you watch.
Not every. Only most. I root for... I was just gonna say, I root for James Bond in his movie. He's an asshole.
Yeah, that's why you like him.
That's one of the
reasons. He's like, my friends call me James Bond as he's seducing Halle Berry.
Or, he drops somebody at a ski resort into a wood chipper, and the guy's bloody all over the place, and he goes, "Oh, he had a lot of guts." What a sociopath!
Or he meets a woman. Her name happens to be Plenty O'Toole, named after your father, perhaps.
That's a great line.
It's what like.
Even before that, when she's just showing their massive cleavage and she's just like, "Hi, I'm Plenty." And he's like, "Well, you sure are." Damn right. God, I need a new Bond film. Yeah.
Oh, God. The moral of the story is Tony roots for the assholes, and I speak English.
Tony roots for the assholes, and Cutler James is now a fan of mine, right?
Cutler James is, whatever gets him on TV, I can't even be mad at him.
So, I mean, Collision, spoilers, there really isn't all that much to talk about. Isla Dawn popped up on there, but as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any notifications that she's officially joined the roster. She fights Mega Bane. It doesn't seem like she's necessarily involved in anything afterwards, so a lot of people were involved in the show, Grizzled Young Veterans were on there, and Mark Andrews got squashed. So I think it was probably just one of those let's bring some UK people in here. And
Grado was on the Ring of Honor tapings.
Yeah, Grado.
Remember when Grado was a thing?
Yeah, it was a week and a half or so, right?
Yeah. Do you think Tony bought the rights for Like a Prayer?
It's
Ring of Honor.
Grado's brought up, I immediately always think Grado Khan. And just merged those two together in my head. It's the Grado Khan.
It's Grado Khan.
Yeah. He's Shao Kahn's brother or something. I haven't watched this season of this season premiere of Peacemaker yet. For anybody who's curious, that would have been a hot tag, but I didn't get a chance to check it out yet. So I'm very curious. I'm going to watch that after we're done here and I'm editing.
I've heard good things, and I like James Gunn. He's great at what he does.
Superman's great. You haven't watched it yet, have you?
No, I really fucking need to. It's been a positively busy time for me, but I'm getting around to Peacemaker. Superman. See, brain is fried. But so I'm getting around to Superman. I did see the beach fight scene. Someone showed me that, and that was fun.
The whole movie's good. Definitely recommend that for everybody. And I also recommend hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, ringing that notification bell, getting those email alerts, and staying tuned to all the things on smarkatmoment.com and everything else under a mango tree, because that is, of course, where you're going to find all the different links to all those different things. And follow my stuff, my Fanboys Anonymous stuff, my Smark at Moment stuff, all that over there. And, we got the whole pay-per-views coming up this weekend. So that's going to be essentially the next time you're going to be hearing from me is going to be, at least for podcast form, the post-show stuff on Sunday. But if you want to make sure that we do something else in the meantime or whatever, hit up Pick Your Poison tier. That's kind of the whole point of the whole thing. And if you're following my content, you want to follow Rob's as well, tell him where you can find him.
Yep, you can find me everywhere at Dude Felice. You can check out my work on Fightful.com. You should hit up my link tree. Hit up anything with Dude Felice in the name, because I really want to have some fun and do some of my own stuff. You need that motivation, guys. You need to know that the audience is going to be there. And I think sometimes that is the thing that stops me from doing more. But the more followers I get, the more I'll be intrigued to do stuff outside of Fightful. And I'll always be under a mango tree, because in the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep and I spend time with Tony Mango. That is another Billy Joel reference. Billy Joel and Tony will forever be linked in my mind for reasons I can't explain.
All right, everybody. Well, you are forever in our minds, and we hope that we are forever in your hearts, and that you leave your comments below. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking out all the stuff that happened this week. Thank you in advance for checking out the post shows. And adios for now. This has been another Smart Guy Moment. We're being counted out.